Cardano lending us some caution on the weekly chart, wrapped with patience. COTI, can it be a top 50 crypto? What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. I appreciate it. Let's jump into this Cardano and COTI video. Those two go together, like Cardano, COTI. It's natural. It's organic. It flows. Let's start. Everyone, this is not financial advice. I don't need to tell you. This is the data. I'm on my crypto journey right alongside of you. I'm just tracking it. I'm tracking it. This is what I see. So let's jump into it. I want to start on Cardano. This is the weekly. I said it's lending us some caution. And this is what I want to talk about. And for context, we go back to August 7th in this video. This is a really important data that we can now update today. If we see continuation into this bull market, this is what momentum will look like. Could be choppy on the way up, but eventually Cardano getting to this trend line. Could be a month, could be a month and a half, could be 2. Not going to play like the full extent of that clip, but what I said next was basically we get to that trend line, we break that trend line. This could be the signal for just that continuation in the bull market going crazy. If we go to that chart, let's look at the chart before we talk about this even further. Here's the chart. There's that line. Cardano failed. It failed. Cardano did not put in this huge break, right? Breaking this previous swing low. Really, Cardano put in a lower high. I'm sorry, not swing low, swing high. Cardano put in a lower high here, came down, and we're still consolidating on the macro. What we were talking about looking at is the fact that Cardano gets back up here again. That is this area of parabolic gains. That is this area for the continuation of this bull market. Crypto's going crazy. Cardano getting into that area. So I said it's all wrapped in patience because Cardano's consolidating on the weekly. Just because we put in a lower high here does not mean Cardano's bearish. Has it been in a kind of a downward trend on this RSI? Of course, it has been since February. But keep in mind, along the way of that downtrend, since February, being overbought up here in February, Cardano actually saw all-time highs. Don't forget that. So if we get an explosive move out of all of this consolidation into the continuation of the bull market, and it could be this winter, early next year, patience. Remember, patience. I'm reminding myself, this could be the setup, right, for the breakout that Cardano needs to kind of surpass this previous lower high now, this lower high, and get into the atmosphere, the environment of overbought parabolic gains for Cardano, all-time high territory. So that's what Cardano is lending us on the weekly chart. It's updated data. I wanted to just point out to you. If we look at the chart itself, there's the consolidation. Not going to even talk about, the weekly and what has happened after smart contracts. We know the story, and it's 100%, in my opinion, normal after hard forks. We talk about it all the time. Going to the daily chart, probably this one thing on the daily, and you get a really good sense of the sideways trading. It's just this 20-day moving average. Like Cardano can't just break above that, get separation from that area. Right now, it's like, 218 to 220 on the daily chart. It's something to keep an eye on because if we remember, we had this 20-day moving average cross back here below the 50-day moving average, that green line crossing below the blue line. And we previously had a very similar thing. And what we want to see is Cardano just overtake these moving averages. We really need to see that happen because that's what it failed to do back here. It briefly popped above that 20-day moving average, a green line, but rejected off the 50, came back down. We need Cardano to kind of get back above this 20-day moving average because that's how we're going to turn this ship around and get that 20-day moving average back up. So even a pop of overextension or separation from the 20-day right around 218, the 50-day right around 230, we get a pop of separation. Then you start seeing this start trending back up. And that's what we want to see for Cardano for this journey to new all-time highs. Not much to say here, everybody. It is still just in this consolidation on the 6-hour chart. Symmetrical triangle, targets to the upside, approaching $30, targets to the downside, 260, 270, or I'm sorry, 160, 170 to the downside. There's nothing else to say other than be prepared. How are you looking out there? What's your situation look like? Step back, talk to your financial advisor about it, analyze the data, figure out your next move, figure out if you're comfortable with where you are. That's what we all have to do. Anticipate every scenario. We're not here to predict. We're here to prepare. That's the name of the game. So that's what I'm looking at on Cardano. Just continuing to track it, waiting for a break one way or the other. If that's to the upside, awesome. If it's to the downside, then we can start tracking these things. We can start tracking the symmetrical triangle data. We use a lot of that data from the patternsite.com, just in terms of rules, right? What kind of pullbacks can we get? What kind of throwbacks? Could it turn into a busted symmetrical triangle? Things of that nature. We'll track that when the time comes. We need a breakout first. So that's what I'm watching on Cardano. I want to just highlight everything I just said with this tweet. People think Cardano had its run and it's over now. I think they fail to realize that this technology is brand new and it's actually just getting started. Cardano is positioned so well. Zoom out and think long. It's the weekly chart, everybody. This is a brand new technology. We can track charts all day, every day, but I'm serious. Zoom out. Like, this is just the beginning, and we're just all the way back here, just sitting at like $2.14 all the way back here. Who knows what's in store for Cardano with what gets built upon this blockchain? A lot can happen. So that's Cardano. Let's pivot over to COTI. I tweeted this yesterday. What do you think, Shahaf? Round 2 soon. I just tagged him. I took a step back from content. I've been posting a few times a week. It's been amazing. It's been amazing for me. I'm getting very organized in terms of like how I'm running the recruiting firm, how I'm running YouTube, the stake pools, and it's been a blessing. But I'm going to continue offering content to you all and start going down that path again, because it's what we've been doing on this YouTube channel. And I just wanted to be transparent with you all. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of one of the next projects that I'll probably be covering. It's COTI. I want to get Shahaf back on the channel. There's so much going on in terms of COTI right now. And he did reply. He said, challenge accepted. See you soon. So got to start setting that up. Top 50 right now, COTI sitting at 143. And this is where, put aside the project, what they're doing, when it comes to just, hey, how much gains could there be, right, in a project? Rank 143, there's a lot of potential. We're talking about $448 million market cap, and a 10x from where it is right now would bring it to just a like $4 to $5 billion market cap. That would be a top 50. That would be, you go to coinmarketcap.com and COTI all of a sudden is up here in this vicinity. And that's kind of a reality that I could totally see happening. Like, it's just, I think, extremely realistic for COTI to hit a top 50, if not more. And that would be a 10x for COTI from kind of where it is right now in relation to market cap. So 51 cents, how about $5? It's realistic, in my opinion. Speculative, up in the air, who knows what's going to happen, but it's 100% realistic. We pivot over to the charts, and here's what COTI's been doing, just on the rise. I mean, look at this, all the way from this swing low back here in November 2019 on this chart. It's just been on the rise. But just as it is with every other crypto, we have to be cautious, right? COTI kind of in this downtrend. The one thing I just wanted to point out in the daily chart is these 20-day moving average crosses. They always get me. They always raise my eyebrow. I get a little less concerned, I think, when we're potentially in the middle of this bull market, right? This phase 2. Bitcoin, if it bounces, if it keeps going, a little less worried. It could just be very simple consolidation for COTI and altcoins. But if you notice, the 20-day moving average cross back here, below that 50-day moving average cross, led to a pretty big dip. 20-day moving average cross below the 50-day back here led to a pretty big dip. 20-day moving average cross back here, this was March 2020. Technically, it counts, but there was a lot going on in the world on this daily chart, but still, huge dip. So the question is, and the concern is, the caution is, 20-day moving average cross below the 50-day moving average. Is that going to happen? And if it does, is there a big dip in store for COTI, going into the next month or two? It's just something to be aware of. Just because right now, if you look at the COTI chart, it's been seeing gains, right? And we have now downward momentum on the daily momentum oscillator, and you just want to be cautious of that. But if we zoom in, we start tracking the shorter term story of COTI. This is what we're looking at. This falling wedge on COTI. COTI kind of broke out, and a point of reference, a point of important data. this last swing high back here, not long ago, mid-October, COTI has broken that, right? We've put in now a higher high. And so that's really a good first step in turning this ship around. And what I mean is that swing high from a plus, 60% or 60 cents plus into this downtrend. First step is always just putting in a new high from a previous high. And this was a lower high, August 14th or so. And now we put in a higher high from that area. So that's a momentum shift. Now, what we want to be cautious of in this is a couple of things. Number one, we have that swing high back in September to kind of a swing low. And we have this area we want to just track for resistance. If COTI makes a break up to 60 cents at the 786 to the 618 around 56 cents. If COTI on the short term gets another pop to the upside, what happens here? Bullish confirmation is we break that area. But we want to be very cautious of more of a midterm resistance, a midterm lower high, meaning we hit this area and COTI's falling back down. That would be a lower high from this swing high back here in the end of September. That's one thing. The other piece of caution I just want to throw out there is this. We've seen bullish confirmation, what we're waiting for. We can wait for that. But I'm not going to just do a bullish all-out video right now on COTI or Cardano. But what we want to track is this. If we're looking at throwback and pullback percentages, a throwback is 62% throwback rate for falling wedges in bull markets. What that means is, if we go to the chart, 62% of the time, we get throwbacks after a breakout. So a throwback could look like right now, boom, we're getting thrown back to the falling wedge. Or it could look like this. And this is where we have to just really track it, kind of zoomed in, really. It could look like that throwback, or it could look like we get up to this area of resistance, a lower high resistance on the midterm, and then we're getting thrown back in a more dramatic way. So right now, if we do get a throwback, if COTI gets a throwback, this is what I'd be waiting for. From where it is right now to the upper trend line, right around 7 to 8%, to the lower trend line around 13%. We could easily see a 10% dip for COTI. And what we'd want to track in a move like that is very simple: support at the apex of the falling wedge. It's very commonplace for this to happen in these patterns. If COTI makes a move to the Fibonacci, we get a bullish move, we see resistance, it's very much in play to get even more volatile dip to the downside. We're talking 20 to potentially, 25, 30% dip for COTI. And again, we've seen these things happen all the time in crypto, even in bull markets. So this is why we have to just track the data. We can't sit around just predicting the next, move and this is what's going to happen next, because even if it is what happens next, the volatility along the way is way too emotional, and it'll catch you off guard on the short term. So that's why we predict all of these short-term moves and we wait for the bullish confirmations, namely in this case, the 786 break above 60 cents. Will it happen for COTI? On the macro, one thing I know is COTI could definitely just moon on the macro. There's so much potential with what's being built with COTI in alignment with Cardano. And this right now ranked 143 on CoinMarketCap could very much be a top 50 in my opinion. So that's it, everybody. I want to do an update on this Saturday for you. I hope it was valuable. I appreciate all of you. I really do. Thank you for coming by. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.